All right, so today we're focusing on the slope of the line in 4.2. There's a couple of different ways I can find the slope of the line. The first one, and really our focus, is going to be on the formula. I went ahead and wrote the formula in your notes, but I want you to just kind of fill in, yes, that is the formula. Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. I want you to make a note. This is the formula I use when I have ordered pairs. Ordered pairs. Okay, this is my formula. All right, and what do I mean by that? You might not have ever seen this Y2, like a little 2, or, in the Y1. How many of you, that's the first time you've ever seen those little numbers? Have you seen those before? Okay, so what does that mean? Well, you need two ordered pairs to find the slope of a line. So in a minute, I'm going to show you more what that means, okay? But I have X1. Here's my sequence. Y1 and X2 and Y2, okay? X1, Y1, X2, Y2. So when I see two ordered pairs, like I said, we're going to look at that in a minute. Two ordered pairs, and they say find slope. This is the sequence. So whatever number is here for Y2, that's the number I would plug into my formula for Y2. Okay? So that's one way to find slope. The other way to find slope, which I don't necessarily have here, but I do want you to write down in your notes, is when you have a graph. Okay? This is going to be example 1. When you have a graph, you're going to use a formula called rise over run. Rise over run. Now, does anybody remember, maybe from what you learned last year, which value X or Y stands for rise? And you can kind of think about it. The Y, right? The Y is up and down. So we're looking for the change in Y values between 2 points. And then which value would be my run? It would be X, okay? So Y over X. So these are my two ways to find slope, okay? Now, there are special definitions for slope, and they have to do with the value 0. You're going to see these in a minute. Whenever 0 is in my slope, either in the numerator or the denominator, I have to take it one step further. An undefined slope has 0 in the denominator. A slope of 0 has 0 in the numerator. Are you guys filling these in? And then the last point, which hopefully we'll talk about today, if not, we'll finish it tomorrow, is that parallel lines have the exact same slope, meaning the slope is the slant of the line. So look up here for a sec. Parallel lines have the exact same slope, and they will never intersect because the slant of their lines are exactly the same. All right, you with me so far, roughly? Kind of following along? Okay, so in example 1, I'm looking at a graph to determine the slope. Remember what I just said in the terms. What formula am I going to use when I have a graph? I'm going to use rise over run. Very good. Okay, so rise over run between 2 points. I always read the graph. I'm throwing out a lot of important information. I know it's a little wordier, okay, than normal. I always read the graph from left to right, okay, just like I would read a book. So from left to right, I start here at this first point right here, okay? It does not matter if you count the run first or the rise, as long as you put it in the right place in the fraction. Okay, so let's count the run first. Between these 2 points right here, okay, we're going to count the run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 goes in my denominator. That's my run. Remember, it's rise over run. Now I'm going to count my rise. I'm going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 over 6. I cannot reduce that or simplify it anymore, so I'm done. It's just 5 over 6. Okay? And do you remember what we talked about during our review time? like looking at how it's slanted. From left to right, how is it slanting? It's going which way? It's going up, so that would make sense it's positive. So what do you see about the second one?
It's going down, so it's negative.
Yeah, it's going down, right, Kelsey? So it's going to be negative, right, Micah? Okay. What is negative? Yes, the slope, but which one? The rise or the run? The run, okay, and this might be important for you to write in. The run will never be negative. You never go backwards. The rise is what is negative. No, because you read it you always read it forward, okay? So I'm going to start here. Okay, I'm going to start here at this point. Okay, this is my starting point. This is my ending point. Again, you can count the run first or the rise. It doesn't matter as long as it's in the right place in the fraction. Okay, I want you to count the rise and the run. If you think this is negative, put a negative with the rise. If it's positive, then obviously you just leave it. Go ahead and try to write this one down. Count your rise and your run. Okay, I counted the run first. Okay, so I went 2 over. Run is in the denominator, remember. Okay, it's rise over run. Now I'm going down 1, 2, 3. I went down 3. So because I went down 3 from the first point to the second point, it's negative. You guys seem to do okay on that one. There's a few mistakes. All right, Micah, we get it? We're following along? Okay. All right, so now I want you to try one. This doesn't have all that extra stuff on there, okay? You have to decide, is it positive or negative, and which value, okay? Rise over run, go ahead and try your fraction. Okay, which one did you guys do first? Did y'all do the rise first or the run first? Rise. You did the rise first? Okay, so that's the one I did too. So you only rise down 1 to make it level with that point, okay? So it's only negative 1. My rise, ooh, did you get that? Negative 1?
Yeah.
Okay, now my run is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, the run is negative, never negative. Negative 1 over 5. All right, who got it? I know a couple of y'all were saying it. Who got it? Negative 1 over 5? Okay, good. All right, so now let's talk about horizontal and vertical slopes, okay? So what I want you to what I want to show you here is what this would look like in a fraction. All right, so let's take point A. Remember, guys, when I have a graph, my slope is what? Rise over run, okay? So between these 2 points, what is my change in rise? What's my change in rise between those 2 points? 0. It does not change in rise, meaning this is a horizontal line. 0 would go in my numerator. It doesn't change at all. Now, what is my change in my run between the 2 points? I go, yeah, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 0 over 7, okay? But my answer does not end here because now that there's a 0 in my fraction, I have to clarify, is my slope 0 or is it undefined? Okay, so go back to your terms. Look where your 0 is in the fraction. It's in the numerator.
It's a slope. It's not.
Okay, so it's not undefined. My slope is 0. My rule says when 0 is in the numerator, when it's in the numerator, my slope is 0. Okay, so now let's look at B. Look at B, guys. Okay, now B, my points are going in the other direction. Between the 2 points, is there a change in rise? Yes, there is. I'm going down 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we'll say negative 4. But what's my change in my run between those 2 points?
0.
Is it going either way? No, it's 0. What does my rule say about 0 being in the denominator?
Undefined slope.
Undefined.
equals 0.
Okay, very good. Undefined. So anytime, and this is gonna pop up again here in a minute. Anytime 0 shows up in your fraction, I need you to take it one step further and tell me, is it 0 or undefined? Okay?
Wait, so
Yes.
if we forget to put 0 or undefined, will we get points knocked off?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, when 0 is in the fraction. Normally, your slope is a fraction, and you box it in, you simplify it, you box it in. But when 0 is in the fraction, you have to tell me which one, is it 0 or undefined? Okay, great question. All right. Okay, so now we're going to skip the ordered pairs. I'm actually going to work a little out of order here. And again, there's another error in the order of your notes. I need you to flip the page to page 2 after your 4.3, and you'll see the second page of these notes. And again, guys, I apologize. I just don't even know how they got so out of order. But do you see this example 4? Yeah. Keep flipping 4.3, page 2, all the way at the bottom. Do you see example 4? Okay. Finding slope with ordered pairs only. Do you guys see that? Everybody there? Okay, so now I need to show you, we've looked at the graphs, right? That was examples 1 and 2. I skipped example 3 for now, okay? Now I want to show you how to find slope when you don't have a graph. Does anybody see a graph here? Is there a graph? There's no graph. And would you agree that you could plot those ordered pairs on a line and make one? Could you make a graph? Yeah, but that would take some time. Okay? So when you don't have a graph, there's another way that you can find slope. It's your formula from back at the beginning, and I'll write it down right here. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay? But remember, those tags, we'll call them tags like a y2 tag, they mean nothing unless I know which one of these values is my y2. So my sequence makes all the difference. x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay? x1, y1, x2, y2. I want you to write that sequence above the ordered pairs. And you're going to write it as many times as you need to until it's ingrained in your memory. Okay? So just keep writing it. That will help you. So now, according to my sequence, which of those 4 numbers is my y2 value and would go first in my numerator? Which one is y2? Mason?
2.
2. Does everybody see that 2 is my y2 value? Everybody see that? Okay, so I'm going to plug in 2 in my numerator. Now the minus sign is a part of my formula. Now I need to subtract which one is my y1 value. Negative 1. So I subtract negative 1. That's looking a little suspicious. What does that look like? Double negative, which changes to a what? You are going to see this a lot, like a lot. Okay? Those double negatives, boom, just change it to a positive. Okay? You will see that a lot in these slope problems. Okay? Over, which one is x2? 6 minus? No, it is minus. That's part of the formula. Minus what?
1.
Minus 1. Okay? So what's 2 plus 1, guys?
3.
What's 6 minus 1? 3 over 5. Okay? There's no 0 in it there. It's just a fraction. It's simplified. That's my slope. You just box it in. Okay? All right. I want you to come over here to the second one. I want to see if you can plug in the numbers where they're supposed to go. You're probably going to have a double negative somewhere. That's really common. Right? So did you put, this is important, guys, negative 3, that's my y2, minus, what's my y1? Not negative 3. Did you catch that? Okay. Like I said, it's going to happen all the time on these. Okay. Over 5 minus 2. Okay. Now that double negative changes to a positive. Wait a second. What's negative 3 plus 3? 0. Okay. And what's 5 minus 2? So this is not your final answer because 0's in the fraction. So is my answer 0 or undefined? Is my answer 0 or undefined? Look where the 0 is. It's 0. It's 0. Boxed in 0. I'm looking for a boxed in 0. That tells me you know when it's in the numerator, it's 0. When it's in denominator, it's undefined. Okay? How are we doing on ordered pairs, guys?
Good.
Okay, so now I want to come back up to try it. Okay? I want to do 2 more with the ordered pairs. Find the slope of the line through these 2 points, okay? You see tons of negatives, don't you? There's a lot of negatives, so there will be these double negatives. Go by your sequence. x1, y1, x2, y2, okay? Go by your sequence, plug it into your formula. You guys can work on your own, pair up together, and compare your answers. I'll give you about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, so m equals, okay, your y2, what's y2?
Negative 2.
-2 minus -2. How many of y'all caught that? -2 minus negative. Okay, over, what's x2? 7 minus -2. No, sorry. 7 minus 1. 7 minus 1. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong number. Okay, so now -2 minus -2 changes to a plus. This is 0 over 6. This is 0. Now, here's my question to you. Is it completely right if you had subtracted wrong and you had said 0 over 7?
No.
Is that technically all the way right? No, it's not, because you subtracted wrong. So in that case, I might take off a point. You still got the right answer, but you didn't do your subtraction right. So just make sure, yeah, I know, make sure you get everything. Now, on the second one, m equals -5 minus -3 over -3 minus -3. Man, these negatives are everywhere, aren't they? Did y'all catch that on both?
Yes, ma'am.
On both? Now, what's -5 plus 3? -2. So if you didn't catch it and you were to say -8, even though you got 0 in the denominator, that's still not all the way correct. So you've got to do the right math on all of them. But this is not my final answer. Cam, what'd you put?
Undefined.
It's undefined, and we were kind of joking. You got to spell it right, guys. Undefined. Defined. Defined. Okay? All right, so we're going to stop there for today. We did not have enough time to cover parallel lines. I didn't want to try to squish it in. So I took off the last 2 problems on your homework. The updated assignment is on the board, and I've updated on the portal. So that's it for part 1 of 4.2. We're going to wrap up some loose ends from 4.1 and 4.2 tomorrow.